produce a few wormy fruit. The boring ass was about to be succeeded by a dangerous hypocrite. "You have that snivelling expression you wear when you are choking on swallowed words, Edwards. Do you disapprove that I speak ill of the dead?"
Edwards flushed. Only 25 years of age, he had not yet learned to keep his own counsel on Tuesdays, especially when his employer invited him to speak freely.
The Duke was unparalleled, and he was very generous. It is said he endowed an orphanage in his will. Unparalleled? Are you saying outright, to my face, that I am not his equal? That is ungrateful for a secretary who may have to labour on the 1 day a week when I tend to my estate, but who otherwise has more freedom of movement than any servant ought. That is, you are unparalleled as well, Your Grace. Everyone says so, and I do not hold with the notion that asses should be fondly remembered just because they have the means to spread around gifts to make others beholden. As for his generosity to me, I neither need nor want these small landholdings. The man has managed to be a nuisance beyond the grave. The properties all have tenants. Managing them will not create more trouble."
Castleford peered at the deeds.
"It is too peculiar that he gave them to me at all. We were not fond of each other. We had not spoken civil words in years."
That was an understatement. Their few meetings had been marked by reproaches on Bexbridge's part and ridicule on Castleford's. A letter had been delivered with the deeds. Castleford tore it open.
"Castleford, you are no doubt surprised by the legacy that I left you, since you of all men need nothing from me. Neither the lands nor the money would form more than a tiny drop in your ocean of wealth. Therefore I assume that you will not care that it was never my intention for you to enjoy the fruit of either. Rather, I am depending on what little is left of the better side of your character, and requesting that you discreetly handle a matter for me that I prefer not to address through my testament. The landholdings that I left you are currently used by tenants in whose welfare I have a committed interest. It is my wish that the tenants be allowed to remain indefinitely at the current rent of £1 a year. Furthermore, the money left to you should be used to ensure that the tenants' families are never in want of the basics of life. I trust this is a small matter that your stewards can execute without troubling you. It should in no way interfere with the inebriated fornications that normally occupy your time, and which, I am obligated to remind you, bring disrepute to your name and blood, a likely early death to your person, and inevitable damnation to your everlasting soul. Bexbridge."
Castleford shook his head. Even in this letter, in which he placed an unwelcomed obligation on a distant relative with no fond memories of him, Bexbridge could not resist scolding.
"I suppose I will have to visit these spots of land soon, or I might forget about them entirely. Get maps and mark them, Edwards. I will deal with it before summer ends." "That might not be possible, sir. There are not enough Tuesdays left for such journeys along with attending to your usual affairs. Calm yourself, Edwards. I do not have to be sober to visit my estates."
Daphne Joyes flipped through the mail that Catherine had brought to her. She masked her disappointment when it became apparent that the letter she awaited had not arrived. Forebodings sickened her. If that letter had not come by now, it probably never would. She would have to turn her mind to what that meant about the future. Plans had already begun forming. None of them were pleasant to contemplate. Worse, goals that she had thought herself finally close to achieving would now be put off indefinitely, perhaps forever. That possibility pained her heart. She held her composure and mourned privately, secretly, the way she had done for years now. Catherine took a chair.